Every year the reefs undergo a spectacular transformation which changes the colour of the surrounding water. This transformation is brought about by multiple different species but a single organism. This transformation is very, very crucial and important to the survival of this species. What I'm going to be talking about is coral spawning. More specifically, the unsynchronization of coral spawning or reproduction along reefs that is currently happening at the moment. My name is Hoppy Jugong, aka Zach. Let's get this on the road. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's get it. Every year, corals will release millions of tiny eggs and sperm into the water, changing it into like a blizzard. Kind of like an underwater blizzard, just think of it like that. These eggs will then collide with sperm in hopes to fertilize and produce new young coral species. That's basically what happens. So why they do this? To increase success. You've got a bunch of sperm, a bunch of fertilized eggs in the water, there's going to be high success rates. Think of it kind of like a giant underwater orgy, because that's basically what it is. This process ensures that the success rate and the fertilization are extremely high because of the mass of the event that is occurring. The timing of this event is theorized to be based around the environmental cues in the area, such as sea temperature, solar irradiance, wind, lunar cycle, and the sunset. The egg and the sperm can only really last in the water for a few seconds, maybe just under a minute, before the sperm or the egg becomes too diluted to fertilize and produce an offspring. So the timing of these environmental cues and the timing of the mass spawning event is of utmost importance for the survival of coral species. So I've just told you about the synchronicity of corals and why these environmental cues are important for the survival. So what's happening? Well, there's been ongoing research at Tel Aviv University from 2015 studying within the Gulf of Eilat. They identified that some of the most abundant coral species are experiencing what you could say erratic spawning synchronicity. In fact, 3 out of the 5 species studied within this area showed that they were missing the spawning time or the time window for spawning synchronicity by a very long shot. In fact, these species showed no type of pattern comparative to the environmental cues within that area. Let me give you an example. There was one species that was seen to spawn during a full moon in 1 year. A year later, that same species now spawns during a new moon cycle, while the rest spawn during a full moon. It's not good. The researchers of this paper from Tel Aviv University have stated that coral synchronicity, or the unsyncing of coral spawning events and the loss of time window, is going to lead to the potential extinction of coral species, which is not great. In fact, it's very, very bad, considering the fact that coral species or reefs in general are a very vital life source to this planet and to us. So okay, I've explained to you what's happening. How is it happening? Well, we know that the spawning relies on very tight environmental cues. You probably know where I'm about to go with this. The study showed or theorized possible problems that are causing this lack or miss in the time window. And these are climate change, hormonal influx, thermal stress, light pollution. In specific areas around the research location, the scientists identified a very rapid increase in sea surface temperature of 0.31 degrees Celsius every decade. What this means is that this is going to affect the synchronicity or the time window of every coral species within that area. And what this may do is 1, decrease success rates, and 2, shift time windows of all species and potentially kill them off. Increasing temperatures, coral bleaching. Increasing temperatures, possible decline in reproduction or success of reproduction. Another possible problem is endocrine disruption. Now, endocrine meaning hormonal glands. These pollutants can cause, if brought into contact with the organism, reproductive defects, health declines, and potentially affect the nervous system of the contacted organism. We're not out of the woods for endocrine disrupting compounds in the water. In fact, it has been shown to affect humans through reproduction and health defects. Endocrine disrupting compounds, or EDCs, work by disrupting or enhancing naturally occurring hormones such as estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. These artificial, I guess you could say, compounds then bind to the natural receptors in the glands and either 1, increasing the output of hormones, or 2, decreasing the output of hormones to the point where they cannot reproduce. Ultimately meaning that the affected organism is 1, unable to reproduce in time with every other organism, 2, reproduce too early and the offspring die, or 3, they cannot reproduce at all and potentially risk extinction of the species. The research is still a little grey in this area in terms of deciding or identifying what is causing this, or pinpointing the cause scientifically to the point where it's not refutable. Now, all studies within this field have theorized that the main cause leads back to us through climate change and pollutants.
Oh, there's a big surprise! That's an incredible... I think I'm gonna have a heart attack and die from that surprise!
Now that's no surprise. In fact, it shouldn't really come as a surprise anymore with what is currently happening to the planet. We've increased water temperatures significantly, caused mass bleaching events worldwide, shifted the chemistry in the water, affecting the biology in which thrives within that medium. We have changed so much on this planet that it's becoming ridiculous. 2019 is set out to be one of the worst years for climate change. I've touched on this in previous videos. In fact, I did a recent video called The State of the Planet. You should probably check that out. A very important video. I didn't cover everything, but I covered the important parts. Okay? Suggest you check it out because the planet, spoilers, isn't doing too great. Recently, there was a huge climate rally that took place worldwide that occurred yesterday on the 20th of September. This rally was organized by a very awesome individual, Greta Thunberg. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. I am so sorry, but this individual right here, a great person. Actually, Greta, if you're watching this, we all support you. What you do is great. If you ever do see this, thank you for everything that you do. Continue to be an amazing human being, and screw the haters. Okay, let's carry on. Across Australia, kids were skipping school to advocate environmental change and to advocate conservation on the environment to try and better their future, not only their future, but everyone's future. The crappy thing is that as soon as they started doing something to better the world, they get backlash. Look, I understand you can't impress everyone. You can't make everyone happy. I understand that. But this is ridiculous. Let's touch on something really quickly. Something that really, to keep it PG, annoyed the hell out of me. A resource minister in Australia stated that kids should be going to school to learn how to mine coal, drill oil and gas, and learn about geology. He also stated that people who join in on these protests are only learning how to join the dole queue and basically get handouts or be given handouts. In fact, our Prime Minister, this one, stated that schools need more learning and less activism. Look, I just tried thinking about that and it makes no sense at all. We are currently destroying the only planet that we know that we're capable of surviving on. You're not doing anything about it. In fact, I'd be as bold to say that you're never going to do anything about it, nor do you care to. You're leaving it in the hands of children who are still learning to stand up and fight for something that is right, that will save everybody. It doesn't take a scientist, it doesn't take a genius to understand that how we can fix this is through collective conservative mannerisms. We need to get together. Crazy, I understand, but we need to get together as a collective, as a species, and survive. We're the only known species to create a self-destructing cycle. I hope you guys liked that video. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Share it around. It truly helps me out. Let's try and get to 100 subscribers, and I'll do something. I have something in mind that I want to do, but let's get there. Let's share these messages around and get people involved. Share it to Greta Thunberg. Hello. Sorry if I butchered your name again. I'm so bad with names. I'm Australian. But yeah, if you like that video, subscribe. Make sure you educate, don't eradicate. And I'll see you guys next time for another awesome video.